Hello from our studios in Hong Kong. Welcome to Focus Asia. I'm Mark New. First, a report about a David and Goliath struggle on the island of Sri Lanka. On one side, a small community pitted against the power of the government and the world's largest mining company. A battle over land. Land villagers consider sacred to the Buddhist faith, but land developers see as a vital source of phosphate deposits for fertilizer. So far, the villagers appear to have won, thanks to a landmark court ruling. But as Susan Yu reports, it may not be over yet. Goliath could prevail, and a massive mining proposal could still go ahead.
These are the remnants of a golden age. This is Rajakaruna, Sri Lanka's ancient capital in the northern central plains. Sinhalese kings have embraced Buddhism and the beauty of the land here since the 4th century BC. The natives religiously celebrate their rich cultural heritage. An estimated 54 communities are classified as Paranagam, or ancient villages. But on this day, they revel for another reason, keeping a proposed mining project from threatening their way of life. They're fighting plans to harvest up to 26 million metric tons of high-grade phosphate from beneath these fertile valleys, a project so vast it would displace more than 40,000 villagers. It's become a David versus Goliath battle, indigenous villagers against the world's largest mining company.
Most of the villages here are more than 4,000 years old. People have been living here for generations. Our first reaction was that we just can't leave all this behind. We have a bond with everything around us. We refuse to leave.
M. Puratana Thera is the chief monk of this Buddhist temple in Apavola in Anuradhapura. He's also the chief campaigner against the project. The man of cloth is putting his faith in people power to fight the plan that would cover 168 square kilometers and, according to conservationists, wreak havoc on the environment.
The objective is to stop the project. For 2 years, villagers were unsure of their future, so they stopped building homes because they believed the mining project was going to happen. Since our campaign, people are more confident and started building again. We have a signature campaign and collected about 12,000. All the people say they won't leave and would refuse any financial compensation.
Nandani Hatarachi Karuga is one of them. What strengthens her resolve is the secrecy, she says, that's behind the massive project.
I
was offered $11,000 for this land. I was interested at first because I didn't know much about the development. But when I found out, I didn't want to sell. One of my neighbours did, but the rest of us decided to fight it. We filed a suit in court and we have to testify every other month to fight the project.
She adds there have been no guarantees by the government or the mining consortium to provide a better future for villagers. And after all, like countless others at Apavola, her family roots run deep.
I come from a family of 8. We all want to stay and live here. I've 6 children and we're close to the town and facilities like the school.
The $450 million project was first discussed in the early 1990s. It wasn't until 1998 that a deal was struck between the government and the U.S. mining giant Freeport-McMoRan and its subsidiary IMC Agrico. Japan's Toman Corporation and Sri Lanka's state-owned Lanka Phosphates also have a stake in the scheme. Some believe villagers are getting too sentimental for their own good, and that will get Sri Lanka nowhere in the long run. W.C. Dirasakara is the policy secretary for the Ministry of Industrial Development, the ministry that negotiated the mining deal. He says the controversy over the project stems from miscommunication.
We have to market the concept of investment requirement.
Selling the idea?
Selling the idea first. Now, for example, if you take the phosphate project, first we should have look at the phosphate project and tell the people what can you do with the phosphate. If you tell the people that you are the direct beneficiary of the exercise, people will have no second thoughts about supporting you.
Even though no environmental impact study has ever been done by the company, Freeport-McMoRan's IMC Agrico has repeatedly said it doesn't expect any serious environmental harm from the project. Conservationists, though, disagree. You only have to look at the company's track record, they say, to know what villagers would inherit. Take, for instance, its mining operation in Irian Jaya in Indonesia. Conservationists say waste from mining there turned rivers into sludge, degraded soil beyond repair, and displaced thousands of natives whose health is at risk.
Phosphate mining is terribly destructive, as it has happened in many other countries. It is very polluting. It can be a cause of cancer.
The whole world is controlled by American or multinational companies. A government is happy to get big money from them in the name of boosting the economy.
Anti-mining campaigners, meanwhile, believe the rich phosphate supply should be reserved for domestic use to produce affordable fertilizers for Sri Lanka's own agricultural development. And even those in government say the plan should have a rethink.
There are areas where we have to have greater amount of regulation. Now, phosphate in our country is one of those areas. You see, we discovered this phosphate deposit, that's the only deposit we have, in 1972. And at the time, the geologists said that it was very necessary for our own economy, and that if it is properly utilized, it can serve the purposes of agriculture for the next 300 to 400 years.
Preserving resources for the future is one issue. Another is preserving the past. The Ministry of Industrial Development says Sri Lanka stands to benefit $623 million from the mine development project. But campaigners say there's more at stake than just financial gains, land appropriation, and the relocation of villagers. It's also about the future of the country's cultural heritage.
This area that has been identified as the area for mining is very close to the sacred bow tree, which is the most venerated place for the Buddhists in this country, and historical value is unimaginable. And in the area that was marked out for immediate mining or immediate excavation, there were more than 20 odd ancient temples that would have been just wiped out.
Nihal Fernando has followed the Epavola issue from day one. He believes corruption, rather than foreign corporate interests, has compromised the country's heritage.
In fact, the Minister of Cultural Affairs at that time ordered the Director of Archaeology to get it declared a National Heritage Site. But he refused to do it because of politics. You see, these governments are here for a short time, and the politicians try to make as much money as possible.
If true, then the future of the ancient Jayaganga River and the land surrounding its waterways is in the hands of politicians rather than a time-honored community that has lived here for centuries.